Lucy Pastrana, and I'm the HR manager over at the Drake at Hannaford.
My name is Maureen Fitzpatrick, and I'm a Senior Human Resources Generalist at Lowell General Hospital.
Hi, I'm Mel Mundell. I'm a General Manager at Burger King, the one on Drummond in Chelmsford.
Hi, I'm Charlene Jancy. I'm a Human Resources Manager at Enterprise Bank.
Hello, my name's Peter Martin. I'm the store manager of the Walgreens on Middlesex Street in Lowell.
My name is Paula. I'm a senior at Lowell High School, and I'm a sales associate at Kohl's Chelmsford.
Okay. So Lucy and I are first going to talk about the first step in the job search process is really determining where you're interested in applying for a position, how to really start your job search. And there's kind of a number of techniques that you can use. Lucy will probably agree that the most important thing is to really focus, first of all, in the area that you're interested, you have an interest in being employed, whether that be food service, healthcare, or any type of customer service. It is always important to keep in mind as well transportation, yep. Because you do want to make sure that whatever position you're applying for, you have appropriate transportation, whether that be public, a vehicle, whatever you need to get to work every day. In addition to that, there really are a number of sources that you can use in terms of searching for a position. Number one being Indeed, going in the internet, going to specific job websites. Most employers do have
locations
where you can apply in person or you can apply online. In terms of resume writing, what would you say, Lucy, are some of the most important keys?
I believe most of the schools actually help out the students fill out their resumes. So what I look for is that they have all their information in their resume, that if they fill out the application, it's nice and accurate and that it's legible, that we can actually read and see what they want. So,
filling out the application, that's another key point, and that's really every step along the process is you're really the product. You're selling yourself as a product. So it's important to make that first impression and to really make a strong impression, and that starts with the filling out the application. You do want to make sure that you read through the directions that you're follow directions, because that's important at the start, and when you land whatever position that might be, making sure that spelling is correct,
legible, that you can read who you're calling.
Also making sure that the references that have been listed are okay to contact, that you have permission to do that. List work references. If it's maybe a first position, either a teacher or an instructor, that's always helpful.
Yep.
And then really the next step is interview techniques. This is really the second stage in the job search process. So the first rule of thumbs, and I really can't stress this enough, is dressing for success. And you want to make sure that, again, you present that first impression that's the best impression you possibly can. So that starts with to
me, being responsible, coming to the interview by yourself, not being, I know everybody's nervous when they go to an interview, but not being so shy. Ask questions, like we said earlier, be prepared, bring your resume, ask questions, know what you're going into, know what job you want, that you're looking for.
And it's so important to be, as part of that preparation process, there's the presentation, then there's also making sure that you're on time, because again, that's another indicator. If you're, as an applicant, if you're late for the interview, the first thing an employer is going to say is if they're late for an interview, then it's likely that they're going to be late for work every day as well. So those are just very small things that really add up over the course of time. It's really important as well to be, and I think, and Lucy, you probably agree with this, is that it's important to be educated about the employer. So make sure that you've done your research. About the employer, whether it's Hannaford, whether it's Lowell General Hospital, whether it's Walgreens, any number of employers. It's important that the interviewer know that you're really interested in working at that particular company.
What positions they look at, what you're going to be doing, what you're looking for to do for work.
Yeah, and also attitude. Attitude is definitely key. Particularly any type of business is really customer service oriented in some respect. So whether you're dealing directly with the public or you're dealing with staff within the company, so having that positive attitude, being calm, being confident, smiling, those are all those soft skills, and that's the key to success in any position, whether it's your first position or whether it's 20 or 25 positions down the road. If you have those soft skills, then you're going to put yourself in a position where you can succeed, throughout your career then too.
And you'll get your call back. Like there's certain things we look
Yeah.
for not to do at an interview. Like don't chew gum, don't use your cell phone. I was talking with my colleagues this morning. I had an interview this morning, and 3 times the cell phone went off. And on the 3rd time, the applicant said to me, "Can you give me 1 minute so I can answer the phone?" I'm like, okay. So those are things that you don't want to do. Don't even bring your cell phone with you. Keep it in your purse, keep it in your car. Just don't bring it in because it doesn't set a good example of what you're looking for, that you're interested in actually looking for the position. So
And really, as an employer, we're as much as the candidate is really evaluating whether or not they
Yep.
want to work for a particular employer, we as employers are looking at the applicants to say, is this person going to really represent the company well? Is this person going to be
long term, yep.
Yes, is this person going to be long-term? Is this person going to be friendly to a customer who comes into the store? Is this person going to be able to get along with their coworkers? Attitude is one of the main reasons that a lot of employees will fail in a position. So attitude can either be a positive or negative for you. It can work to your advantage or against, depending on how you use it.
I agree.
It's also important too, after the interview, make sure that you have the name and the title of the person you interviewed with. And it's always a good idea to send a thank you. So whether
card, or
that's
even a phone call, yep.
yes,
Yep.
Even if it's a matter, of going someplace, picking up a few thank you cards, sending that out. All those little details are what really makes you stand out to an employer.
Yeah. I always tell when I do little fairs at my store, I always tell them, make sure you say thank you for taking the time to see me, because obviously everybody's very busy and we do take the time, to see as many, I know at least I do, to see as many people as I can. Even though I'm not looking for 20 people, I'll interview 40. Just because I want to get the right candidate for the right job. So like she said earlier, it's very important that you're, be yourself, be honest, be prepared. And if you're not sure, ask questions. You know what I mean? Make it easy. I make my interviews as easy as possible because I personally don't like them.
Yeah. And that's so important
Yep.
too. Is
Make them
Lucy,
comfortable.
is
Yep.
Make them comfortable, and as you said, make sure that you're really yourself during the interview process too. Because if you kind of more or less present yourself as something you're not, you may get through to the point where you're offered a position, but then may not succeed in that role too.
Couple of weeks, then
Yeah, and it's also important to ask questions of the employer. In general, those are really the most probably the key points in terms of the beginning of the job search process.
So we will be having a job fair at Lowell High School on Thursday, May 1st from 3 to 5. So we welcome everyone to come in, participate, ask questions, fill out your applications. So we look forward to seeing you that day.
One of the things to remember is that your role as an applicant isn't complete necessarily after the job interview. There are some things that you can consider to continue the relationship with the employer, to make sure that you stay fresh in their mind. A lot of times there are multiple applicants for a position, and you want to have the opportunity to stand out.
Yeah.
One of the things that you can do.
It's I think you should call. Actually, at least you want to stay in touch with the employer. So you may want to call them back, and you want to know if what's going on with the application. Maybe if if the position is still available, or if they would like to maybe. They want you to come back for a second interview.
Sure.
We do second interviews, so after the first one, so that could be one of the things that you could do.
Yeah, I think it's very appropriate if you want to communicate your interest to follow up with a thank you note or an email. So hopefully after the interview you've left and you've gotten the business card of the person that you've interviewed with, so you have their contact information, because it's just another way to show that you're interested and really would like to join the company that you've interviewed for a position with.
Yeah. And you have to be ready too. You have to be ready for that phone call. If they call you after the interview and they're like, okay, are you ready to start tomorrow? Well, the answer will be yes.
Yeah.
I'll start tomorrow. So be ready, know your schedule, know the hours that you want to work. And once you have, make sure that your voicemail, when they call you, whatever message you have on the voicemail is appropriate. You don't want them to hear something that's not really professional, so make sure you change that. Maybe you change that voicemail message.
Yeah, I
when
would
they call
agree.
you.
That's a big point, I
that can
think,
be something
to
embarrassing.
communicate is that you're still making an impression upon the organization until, they've, offered you that position. You want to make sure that you're communicating the right message about yourself and to make sure that you've got, an appropriate voicemail message, even an appropriate email address. I've seen some email addresses that they sound a little bit fun, but from an employer standpoint, it might raise an eyebrow. So be mindful of that as you're sending out your communications. There's a great opportunity that's going to be coming up at Lowell High on May 1st in the afternoon. I believe it's from 3 to 5.
Yeah, we have a job fair,
Yeah.
so we're inviting all the students to come there.
Yeah.
There will be a lot of employer. I myself will be there, trying to recruit, trying to find new people for my restaurant. I think it's May 1st. That's the day, and then most of my employees are from that job fair. I would say about 55% of them. We go there every year. All of us, all the employers, we go there every year trying to recruit, trying to staff our restaurants, and you're welcome to come.
Yeah. The job fair is a great opportunity to start to develop a relationship with an employer, and there's a saying that you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So when you come to the job fair, come prepared. Better to overdress than underdress. Dress professionally doesn't necessarily mean that you have to come in a suit, but show that you felt that this was important enough to you to make an effort to present yourself professionally, that you're prepared, that you're serious. And that's sort of the messaging that dressing professionally and acting responsibly as you go through and you visit the employers, because that will resonate. And I understand that at these job fairs there's a whole lot of students that are there, and there'll be a lot of friends, and it's an opportunity to kind of socialize a little bit. But remember why you're there, and you're there because you want to make a good impression with an employer so that you can secure a job. And so you might not think that these things are being noticed, that's going around, and if you're standing in line behind somebody, but trust me, they are. So cell phones and appropriate behavior is really important as you go through. And you have an opportunity for an employer to put a name and the face together. And so reaching out and shaking hands.
I always remember, the one that come to me and the one that impressed me are the one that they usually, they're self-confident. They come to me and say, you know what, I want to work for you. And I'm like, wow, you want to work for me? And those are the ones that I usually remember. They're like, okay, and then after they leave the information with me, they will call me and they say, you know what, Mel, do you remember me from the job fair? My name is so-and-so. I'm like, oh yeah, I do remember you. And that's how that's how you start a relationship with an employer. That's how, and I have a lot of them, some good kids who came to me and say, you know what, I want to work for you. And it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity because it's just another way for you to get yourself physically in front of someone, and it's a lot easier sometimes because you can put a name and the face together other than just an online application or a resume. And even if you come through the job fair and perhaps this year you don't end up with employment, it doesn't mean that you haven't started a relationship with that particular employer, and that if you happen to watch their website 6 months from now and a position becomes available, that you could pick up the phone and say, Mel, do you remember me? Or Charlene, do you remember me from the job fair? I'm still very interested in joining you, and I saw this opportunity on your website. So look at it as a way to make connections, other than just for one particular job. It could be for other opportunities in the future as well.
That's right.
So.
Hello, my name's Peter Martin. I am a store manager. I run a Walgreens store here in Lowell. It's actually the one on Middlesex Street. And I have run a store for a long time, and I've hired a lot of people, and I've worked with a lot of kids who are looking for jobs, and I've conducted a lot of interviews, and I've also worked with a lot of kids both in the high school setting and just sort of out in the community. And I sort of end up seeing a lot of similarities out there in terms of what a lot of you guys maybe don't understand about the interview process, or maybe you don't understand about what it means to go look for a job. And so I've done a lot of work talking to kids and kind of reaching out to say, like, hey, I think this might be some things that you're not understanding about the process. Because on my end, when I'm doing the interviews and I have people coming in and doing applications, I keep seeing a lot of the same mistakes over and over again. So what I want to do real quick is just kind of invite you to kind of put yourself in my shoes. As an employer, I'm looking for someone to work in my store, and I'm going to talk about that for a minute. And then we're going to kind of say, okay, now that you understand where I'm coming from, let's talk about how that might translate into a great strategy for you to get the best job that you can where you're at right now. So let's just imagine what it's like to be me. I've got 25 people working for me, and I'm always trying to have the best people. I always want the best people working for me, because the better the people are, the better my business is going to run, the happier my customers are going to be, the more money they're going to spend in my store, the better staffed my store is going to be, the more smooth things are going to run. I'm going to sleep better at night, right? I want a great running store, so I'm always looking for those A-plus people. The B-plus people are cool. The B people, they're nice, I like them, but I'm always really looking for those A-plus people. Because when I find A-plus people, my store runs A-plus, and that makes me very happy, and that makes my boss very happy. So what is A-plus people? What does that mean? These are the people that they're always on time. They don't come to work with a lot of drama. You know, they're not coming to work with problems outside. We all have problems outside work, but these are the people that are able to kind of keep their problems outside work outside. When they come to work, they're ready to work. They're wearing the uniform, they're excited, they're enthusiastic. I don't ask them to do a project and they're like, ugh, I hate doing that. You know, they're really into doing whatever it is that I'm asking them to do. That's what an A-plus person is. They're great with customers. They don't talk back to customers. They've got a lot of energy. They've got, you know, Maureen was talking earlier about this, and Charlene was too, just about how important, you know, really caring and really giving yourself it is on our end. So if that's what I'm looking for, let's talk about how in the job interview process, how does that translate into what I'm looking for? And here's kind of what I think a lot of kids are missing. They don't understand that the whole job interview process, we're combing, we're looking, we're trying to sniff things out to see if you're an A-plus person. So my message to you is, if you don't have a job and you're looking for a job, you have a job. Your job is your job search. You have to look at it as a job. You are full-time looking for a job. That's how you have to look at it. If you think, well, you know, I filled out an application, I put it in, and I haven't heard back, so I guess it's a hard job market out there. It's hard for me to get a job, that's it. Guess what that says to me? That says to me that you're not a hard worker. What happens when somebody comes in and they fill out an application and they're wearing jeans with holes in them, and their hair's all messy, and they're just, you know, they're kind of slouching, they're like, hey, can I have an application? What that says to me is, when they come on board with me, they're going to be like, hey, I just don't feel very good today. And, you know, therefore, that's not what I want. I'm looking for someone to behave during the job search process the same way that I want them to behave, that A+. So let's talk about, like, what does this mean? It means that when you're looking for a job, you want to be high energy, enthusiastic, determined. You want to have I'm going for it and I'm going to get it attitude. Mel earlier said, Mel's a manager at Burger King, he said, you know, the people that stick out to me are the people that come up to me and they say, I want to work for you. And that's how it works for me too. I don't care whether you're looking for a minimum wage, entry-level job, or whether you're looking for a high-paying, highly skilled job. Confidence and enthusiasm and determination are usually the distinguishing factors. So if you're looking for a job now, what you need to do is you need to understand that everything you do reflects on how we perceive you. So that means that when you do fill out an application, you fill it out well, you come in dressed for success. If you're a guy, you wear a tie. If you're a girl, you dress up. You look perfect. You're and you're determined and you're really communicating, this is how I work. You can tell what a great worker I am because I'm working so hard at this job application process. Sometimes I get this, yeah, I was just calling to check on the status of my application. Filled out an application 2 weeks ago and haven't heard from you. And you know what that says to me? That says to me you're not a hard worker. What I would recommend is every place that you fill out an application, you go in person, dressed for success, and you walk in and you ask to talk to that hiring manager. And if they say that they're too busy, then cool, you come back the next day, you come back 2 days later, and you ask again. And when you get in front of that hiring manager, you say, hello, I really want to work here. You give them a nice firm handshake and you look them right in the eye, and probably they're going to say, well, you know, we're really not hiring right now, I'm not interviewing. And you say, okay, that's cool. And you walk out and you're undetermined, or you're totally determined, and you do that again at the next place. And then you swing back a few days later and you go back to that hiring manager and you do it again and again and again. I know that sounds crazy, but that's the kind of determination that people like us are looking for. Because if somebody is that determined and that enthusiastic and that confident and that good with people, then what's going to happen when I bring them on board? Are they A+ people? They're A+ people. Those are the people that I'm looking for that I'm going to bring on board. So I hope that maybe that kind of gives you sort of a bird's eye view of the kind of excellence we're looking for. There's so much that I could say about that, but you know, that's sort of my take on this whole thing. There's a job fair coming up, right?
And it is going to be held at Lowell High School. It is welcome to all high school students. So if you're from Dracut, Tewksbury, Lowell High School, the Greater Lowell Vocational School, you're all welcome to come. It will be held at Lowell High School's cafeteria from 3 to 5.
Great. We hope to see you there. If you're an employer or a hiring manager and you're interested in being a part of the job fair, it's a great opportunity to meet a lot of kids who are looking for work. Please contact Beatrice Sierra at 978-805-4813. Thanks a lot, everybody, and I hope to see you there.
Good luck.
And the job tip that I have when I'm looking for an applicant is be yourself and come by yourself. Don't have your parent call, don't have your friend call, be yourself, come yourself, and good job.
And I can't stress enough the importance of having a positive attitude, whether it's during the interview or after you land a position, and also making sure that employer knows what you can do for their company and why you'll be considered an asset if they do hire you.
The tip that I have is that you have to be persistent. You have to keep on trying, keep on calling, keep on follow up. You know, you want to create that relationship with that employer. So just don't give up. You know, if you get a no the first time, it's like maybe, you know, when you want to date someone, you know, you have to keep insisting. You know, try to market yourself out there. Like, you know, I'm the right person for you. So that's my tip.
I think my tip would be that you do your homework. You have homework in school, but you have homework when you go in a job interview. And it's very impressive when you have a candidate that comes in and they have done some research on the organization and they've tried to glean what the company values and corporate structure might be like, and maybe ask some particular questions in relation to that. So it really shows an employer that you're very engaged if you come in and you're prepared with some questions and you have a good understanding of the history and some of the inner workings of the organization.
Yeah. My recommendation would be to apply to many, many, many places. If you apply to only 2 or 3 places, it's pretty much a sure bet that you're not going to get probably the ideal job. If you do get a job, your odds are not great that it's going to be the best job for you. I tell kids you want to apply to a good 20 or 30 places. That seems like a lot, but think about it. The more job offers you get out of them, you can pick the best one, the one that works best for you, maybe that has higher pay or that fits your personality best. It's like swinging a bat. The more times you swing, the more likely you're going to get a home run, and you're going to get better and better at the interview process too by doing it that way. So that's my piece of advice.
A tip that I have is to practice at home, like to speak, try talking to your friends about it. Try getting the nerves out of your system before going into the interview and knowing what you're going to say. Because if you go to an interview and you could freeze up. Like, you can sit there and not figure out who you are and like what you're trying to say and make your impression a good one. So that's important to get used to public speaking. And also a reminder that the Youth Job Fair of 2014 will be held at Lowell High School on May 1st, 2014, and it is held from 3 to 5. So good luck.
See you there.